Hey everyone, I may not have the most aesthetic workspace, but I still want to share a little bit of what I do every day as a full-time artist. I have the amazing opportunity to do custom work for several people all over the US, and it keeps me pretty busy and it keeps me pretty happy too at the same time. And I just thought it would be awesome to kind of start sharing just a little bit of my kind of everyday what I work on. Today I'm working on a couple different commissions, finishing up details of both of them, and the first one is actually a custom house portrait. I have it all painted and I'll actually be adding the calligraphy to this piece. So I'm actually just setting up my space so that I can graph out the calligraphy beforehand, and then I will get to inking it. I actually first started my business doing calligraphy several years ago. The actual traditional calligraphy where it's dip pen dipping in the ink, and I still do that every so often, but mostly when I'm doing custom pieces where I add any type of calligraphy inspired text to it, I actually just use brush pens that are specialized to look very similar to dip pen calligraphy. They're just a lot less messy, and I really prefer that I can do the lettering a lot quicker than I actually could do if I were getting out the ink and my inkwell and my nibs and things like that. As you can see, it's a lot quicker than the dip pen would be. And, I do really prefer dip pen, but this just can't be beat on how quickly it can go. And there we have that. That's all that needed to be done, actually. This is something that I'm offering new at the end of this year, kind of as a holiday season thing. But the portraits that I do the most are actually custom pet portraits. They're the ones that keep me extremely busy every week, something I'm extremely thankful for. And this is a pit bull that I am finishing the details on today. I didn't record really the first portion of his process just because recording while painting really does take a lot of dedication, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to get really good shots while also not interrupting my workflow. So if anyone has any tips for that, I would so appreciate it. Having to stop and get different angles and everything as you're painting is really difficult, honestly. But when it comes to this pity, you'll see, I don't know if you noticed earlier in the video, I'm actually wearing a Scooby-Doo shirt, which I don't really wear this shirt very often, but keep watching the video and you'll see why I chose to wear this shirt as I finish this guy's sweet portrait. Scooby-Doo actually used to be my absolute favorite cartoon as a kid, actually, so I've had this shirt in my closet. Every so often I wear it, and I was like, okay, it's actually kind of perfect for this video. You'll see why when I finish him up in the end here. This portrait was super fun because I think this is the happiest dog I have ever painted. Every photo that the client sent me, he was smiling, and they also asked to have him painted in his birthday bandana. So you'll see me start that here in just a bit once I finish all of these little fur details. And also, when it comes to my client photos that I ask for, I always prefer if they can send really well lit, crisp, well-defined photos. Sometimes that's just not the case because more often than not, I do paint memorial portraits. So in this case, this was a pet who had passed away. I don't know how long ago he passed away. I don't know his full story. Sometimes clients share the full story of the animals. Sometimes they don't, which is totally okay. But I knew that I likely wasn't going to be able to get any other photos of him than what the client sent me. So I had to kind of be a little bit more intentional with getting the details, even though the photo they sent wasn't quite as crisp as some other photos I've received from people in the past. And even so, I can still really kind of make it work, even if the reference photo itself isn't super clear, super crisp. I've painted enough pets, specifically dogs, over the years that I do understand, for the most part, how their fur works and how it lays over their eyes and things like that. So it just really helps to have a clear reference photo. But I really am pleased with how this one came out, even though I think the photo was a Snapchat photo actually, and it was super cute. I couldn't not use it. It was perfect. I think it portrayed his personality to a T from what it looked like, because he looked so happy. So I'm glad that I was able to have such an expressive photo to do, even if it wasn't the clearest. As I'm sure you've noticed, I do kind of go maybe a little overboard with little tiny details that you can't really notice when you're watching the video, but it really does add to the depth of the fur when you're adding different shades and different layers, things like that. So I made sure to try to get as many layers as I could to kind of add to the depth of his fur before I moved on to one of my favorite parts of any portrait, which is the nose. He had a really unique nose too. He was really kind of spotty and pink and brown and black, and I had a lot of fun painting this one. And again, when it comes to any point of a portrait, layers are key, especially when you're really trying to get some good depth and texture out of whatever you're painting. One reason I am really hoping to grow this channel is really just to connect with other people, specifically artists, creatives, people who enjoy watching art videos, people who enjoy connecting over art and beauty and animals. I just really want to build a community. I feel like it is somewhat difficult to build any type of connection or community in real life, and I don't know if that's just me. I'm extremely introverted, so much so that I think that does kind of influence how well I can connect over these things, but I just feel like doing a channel is something that I really should just kind of dive into trying to build. It's something I've wanted to do for years. I've wanted to have a little bit of a platform to just kind of talk about the things I love most and to meet and connect with other people who love a lot of the same things I love. So that's kind of my hope as I continue to share these, that I could just find other people who kind of are like-minded, who love the things I love, maybe other artists. I just think that social media is so perfect for meeting people who are kind of in the same boat as you. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't have this perfect, aesthetic, beautiful, breathtaking artist space. I wish I did. I wish I had my own studio with perfect light and a beautiful desk and beautiful backdrop. And maybe one day I'll actually have that. But for now, I'm literally painting up in my loft bedroom in our townhouse apartment, and I have to make it work. And I can't really can't move anything around or rearrange in different ways that I would like, but it's completely okay because it is the space that I need right now. It does what I need it to do, which is just, it helps me have a space to create and fulfill commissions. So I think that maybe that's something I could try to connect with others on too, is building a relationship with other artists who just create in whatever realm they're in the moment. I think that's a big thing as artists, feeling like we have to have everything perfect, everything has to be aesthetically pleasing and beautiful, and more often than not, that's just not feasible and that's not attainable, because we're artists and sometimes things are messy, or sometimes things just aren't super pleasing to the eye, but we make it work and we still make beautiful things within that. And I think that's kind of the beauty of being an artist. And if there's anyone else out there who kind of feels the same, I would love to kind of just connect with you on it and kind of come together in realizing that you don't have to have the perfect space to create the perfect art. That's something that I'm constantly trying to reassure myself of. I just want to show real things. I want to show real spaces, real creative processes, and the real me. And if other people want to see that and want to be on the same page and connect over it, it would absolutely make my world if that were the case. Right here, I am just adding the details to his bandana, of course, which it was a black bandana. In the photo, it wasn't super clear. It just looked like a black kind of block. So I'm working on adding a little more depth to it and some wrinkles and kind of folds of the fabric to kind of show that it's wrapped around his neck snugly in kind of a cute way. Painting fabric folds is really fun, and it's also something that takes a lot of layers, which I paint with watercolor and gouache, so I just kind of go back and forth between using both to kind of capture the depth and detail that I'm looking for. Also, you'll see that this is filmed vertically because partway through recording some of the other clips, my phone died. And then when I set up again to take more shots, I set it up this way. And I was just like, okay, yeah, because it's kind of hard to set up horizontally sometimes on my desk space. So I tried to make it work with having it still look nice and still show the process, even if it doesn't fill the whole screen. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to filming in a way that isn't impeding my process. So if anyone has tips, again, please let me know. If anyone has any tripods or anything they use that are actually easy to use for painting and showing the overhead shots, please tell me, because I have tried so many and it's so hard to have something on your desk when you need your desk space. We go. This is the reason I was wearing a Scooby-Doo shirt as I was painting. I just thought it would be too perfect, seeing as I had a Scooby-Doo shirt. But this sweet guy was named Scooby. It absolutely made my day when my client told me his name and that she wanted it on his portrait. I have never painted a dog named Scooby. And like I said, Scooby was absolutely my favorite dog as a little kid, so this absolutely made me so happy to write on the portrait as the last finishing touch. I always save names for last, that way I can situate them just right underneath the dog's face, and I was super happy how this one came out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.